Hello and good morning from Zihuatanejo, Mexico. I haven't done an update in a while, so I thought I would jump on and let everybody know what's going on in the big city of Zihuatanejo, Mexico. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sonny Starr. My husband and I moved here just a little over a year ago with our three perros, and here we are. It is June and the beginning of the rainy season, and so we've been having lots of thunder and lightning. We did get some rain last night, nothing significant, but some rain last night. But what comes along with the rain are critters, and I've talked about bugs and critters before. But when we moved here, there was a little lizard. Don't mind the noise in the background, that's just a motorcycle with no muffler. But when we moved here, there was a little lizard, and I named her Lily, and she would run around on, sometimes on the patio, sometimes on, the neighbor's house, whatever that was. Sorry, my doorbell is ringing. Anyway, it would run around on, the patio sometimes, and the dogs would bark, and it would jump off the patio. Well, after a year, Lily is no longer a little lizard. She is a full-grown iguana. And she, normally doesn't come up on our terrace or our balconies because we have dogs and they bark and they scare her, and so she, just runs away. However, because it's the rainy season and the critters are now, it's wet outside and they're trying to come inside, Rodney and I went to the gym yesterday, and when we got home, our dogs were like going crazy, and I mean crazy. So we went in, they're in our bedroom. Our oldest one, who's 15, was under the bed, and she's too fat to get under the bed, so that should tell you something. We were like, okay, why are our dogs going crazy? Well, Lily must have gotten onto our patio, and the dogs saw her and they scared her, and she ran inside of our house because we had a little tiny hole in one of our screens on the door, came in the house and was under the bed hiding. Pumpkin, our old dog, was trying to tear her apart. She was just lunging at her. Now, I'm sure you don't know anything about my dogs, but Pumpkin has like almost no teeth left because she's so old. So if she bit her, a tooth might fall out. But she was under there trying to get it. The little one was behind her barking as her support system. And our little green-eyed bandit dog, the blondie, was standing back just watching like I'm not going anywhere near that iguana. So Rodney and I moved the bed out, got the dogs out of the room, tried to shoo Lily out of the patio door. And it's a big patio door, so she had plenty of room. But tried to shoo her out of the patio door, and she was not moving. She was not going anywhere. She wasn't going out. So we called one of our friends here who has done some work for us, and he just lives right down the street. And I called him, and he was like, I'll be right there. So within 5 minutes, he came down and brought this young man with him who was just as cute as he could be. And they had like a mechanic's rag and a tarp. And he said, well, do you just want us to, shoo him out, or do you want us to take Lily away? And we were like, well, we don't want her back in our house again. I mean, obviously, we're going to get our screen doors fixed. So they went into our bedroom within like 3 seconds. They had thrown that rag on top of this iguana's head, had wrapped her head up, and had her in their arms ready to leave. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. There ain't no way I'm putting a towel on top of the iguana's head and picking him up and taking him outside. But they took her away, so we don't have to worry about her anymore. And iguanas over here are an endangered species, so, we don't want her killed. We just don't want her in our house. So she's been relocated. She has a brand new home now, and she'll probably do great over there. But I did, Pumpkin, the old one who was trying to bite her, did get a scratch on her nose, so I took her to the vet, and the vet was like, oh, it's just a scratch, just keep it clean and keep some antibiotic ointment on it, and it'll be fine. So that's great. Nobody was harmed with Lily the iguana coming in our house. Rodney and I were certainly not going to pick her up and take her out because they bite and they scratch, and they're not nice. I mean, we see hundreds of them on the golf course all the time. This is the time of year where all the iguanas are out, and there are lots of them. There are lots of them, maybe not so much in town, but on the golf course there are hundreds. And this is also crocodile egg-laying season, so there's lots of crocodiles on the course. There's one hole, I think it's like hole 16, where this big mama crocodile always lays her eggs in the sand. And so they have that all roped off, and you have to be really, really, really careful, because if you go anywhere near her eggs, she's charging you, and you need to stay away. Which, anybody with half a brain understands that. But you do see a lot of critters who will dig up her eggs and eat them and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know how many actually survive, but this is egg laying season for the crocs here. If you see my hair, I'm trying to let my hair grow, because my youngest is getting married in November, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out for me, because I don't like hair, but I'm trying to make it so I can actually do something with it at the wedding. But who knows, it may be short by November. I may not be able to deal with it. I also went and got my eyebrows touched up today. Don't they look great? Rodney always says I look like Bert and Ernie off of Sesame Street with the big eyebrows, but they're beautiful. In a couple days they'll be all healed and beautiful. I just had to get them touched up a little bit because they were fading. Have them all nice and good. I haven't got my lashes done in a while. I'll get those done before the wedding, but we're just hanging out in Zihuatanejo. We walk on the beach 3 times a week. We go to the gym twice a week. The dogs are all doing great. They're all crazy as can be, running around. Pumpkin is the protector, so now we're calling her. She's like the OG gangster dog, because she was not giving up with the iguana. But just another normal day in Mexico. The iguana coming in the house and visiting. It's been a great time for all. I have been watching on TikTok a couple of people that are moving to Mexico from the U.S. I just saw a couple who did exactly what we were doing. They crossed, went into Phoenix and crossed at Nogales, across the border. They did say that they actually stopped and paid to have their car certified so they could import it, and their car was like 15 years old. But they paid like $2,000 to have their car certified at this place so they could drive across the border, which they didn't have to do that. But there's a lot of companies out there who take advantage of foreigners who don't understand that when you bring your car into Mexico, you need to go to the Bandercito and get your import permit, and you pay, I think it's like $350, and you can have it in the country for a certain period of time depending on your your status, your immigration status. But when we got here, that was pretty confusing, so let me just kind of talk about that real fast. We got our permit to bring our car into the U.S. We drove across the border. The Bandercito was, outside about maybe 5 miles after we crossed the border, and that was a fairly easy process. But you have to have registration, title, insurance, your documentation, your passport. I mean, you need a lot of paperwork, to provide to them, but we had everything, in a folder. So that was a fairly easy process. Took us about an hour. But when we got here, we were told that we needed to renew our import permit. And I don't know if that's changed over here, especially where we're at, but we have a friend who obviously speaks fluent Spanish, and we asked him if we needed to renew it. He was like, well, I don't know. So we were told that the Bandercito was out at the airport, and we took him out there with us, and they were like, we have no idea what you're talking about. You're going to have to go to this other little city, which is about an hour outside of here, and they actually had the Bandercito office. So we drove out there, had an address, pulled up in front of the address, and there was nothing there. And so he asked one of the locals out there, and they were like, oh, it's moved. It's downtown now. So completely wrong address on the website. So we finally found the car import Bandercito place that we needed to go. Went inside, and he was like, you don't have to do anything. You've got your paperwork to have your car in the country. You're a resident here. Just keep this paperwork in the glove box, and if you were ever pulled over, just provide them with this paperwork, and it shows that you're allowed to have your vehicle in the country. So I don't know if it's different in different cities, but for us, we were told we didn't need to renew our import permit. because we live here full time and we haven't licensed our vehicle over here because it's too new. Your car needs to be 10 years or older before you can license it with the Mexican license plate. And so we still have our tabs and our plates from the States. We just keep them registered and updated, and we haven't had any problems over here. So that's just some information in case somebody needs to know. Do your research before you pay $2,000 to cross the border and import a 10-year-old car, because in my opinion, those people got took. And I kind of, made a comment. I also warned them about, going into Sinaloa and watching for like some fake checkpoints, because those do happen. If you don't see badges and it's not a federal vehicle, or it's not an actual police vehicle with a police signage on it, you probably don't want to stop. Those are people who are just trying to extort you. So I gave them some information on their TikTok, and they thanked me for it. But anyway, not much else going on. We're staying here all summer through the heat, so we'll see if we can deal with that. I love the heat, but right now it is hot. It is hot. 90 degrees and humidity. The rain helps, but it is hot over here, and I love the heat. But for us, we haven't turned on the AC but yet a couple of times this year, so it's been great. But when you're outside, it is hot. It's hot as hell here. I'm just gonna be honest. So anyway, talk to you soon. Hope you enjoy my videos. Thanks.